This call is being recorded.
Assalamu alaikum.
How you doing?
Little speakers. Hello, Dad. Can't hear you. Are you taking?
Hear me now?
It's a little. I don't think my speaker's working.
Well, maybe I'm talking too low. Can you hear me?
Oh, you can hear you now.
All right. Is everyone present?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Name of Allah, beneficent, the merciful, who has appeared and is in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. I greet you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right. How have you all been this week?
Good. Good. Great.
Well, that's good. Everything coming along fine at the house and at school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Has everyone been saying their prayers?
Yes, sir.
Have you been saying prayers, Amaria?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Dane, let me hear you say your prayer.
Surely I have heard myself, being upright to him, who originated in the heavens and the earth. I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, and this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King. There is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, but there are no grant protection against all faults but thee. Grant protection against faults but thee. It guides me to the best of morals, but there are none who guide to the best of them but thee. It turns away from me the evil morals but thee.
All right. Kamal, let me hear you say your prayer, son.
Surely I have turned myself being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer and my sacrifice and my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the world. No associate has he, in this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself and confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults. For none grants protection against faults but thee, and guides to the best of morals. For none guides to the best of them but thee, and turns away the evil morals but thee.
All right. Amaria, Daddy, hear you say your prayers.
Yes, sir. Sure, I fear myself from being upright to who originates the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, and my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and no associate has he. And I am.
He can't hear you. Speak up.
Can I restart?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and restart.
Surely I fear my. Surely I fear myself being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the world, and no associate has he, and this I am commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee.
Thou art my Lord.
O my Lord, thou art my Lord, I thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And
Are you, do you need more help with it? I thought you've been saying your prayers.
I have.
Be quiet. Come on.
Yes, sir.
I just in her game from far.
Okay, well maybe you'll do better next week. Okay, Rafiq, let me hear you say your prayers.
Yes, sir.
Surely I have turned myself, being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, and this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults. For none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me to the best of morals. For none guides to the best of them but thee, and turns away from me the evil morals but thee. Amen.
All right, very good. Well, today's Sunday lesson, we're going to continue on the, we've been talking for the past few weeks about, why certain things happen to us. And we've been reading primarily from the book of Genesis and the book of Revelation, concerning our enslavement and concerning, some of the things we went through. Hold on.
Dad, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I couldn't find the upload of last week's Sunday school.
Oh,
Did you upload it?
I haven't uploaded it yet. I'm gonna upload it. I'm gonna upload it probably today or tomorrow, along with this one. Okay. So if we go, let's go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 15. Let me know when you all have it.
Page 19. Page 19. No, you didn't.
15.
Page 19. All right, we're all there.
All right. Dane, read verse 14.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Okay. Now, a moment. So in the 15th chapter of Genesis, in verse 14, it said they shall do what?
Come out with great substance.
They shall come out, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Wait, Dad. You are really hard to hear. It's really low.
okay, how is this?
Say again?
I'm trying to, hold on.
All right, that's perfect.
How is this?
That's good.
That's good.
Okay. Now, they say they shall come out with what?
Great substance.
Great substance, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. Turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 16.
I can't find it. Oh, there it is.
It's 900.
Yeah, I'm there.
I said it for so.
It's verse 16. All right, we're all there.
Okay. When we say substance is some like material you can touch. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Like, substance can be like, like rice or substance could be like your toothbrush, something you can touch and feel. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like even silver and gold, that can be considered substance. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you read in the book of Genesis that after we were going to slavery for 400 years, it is prophesied that we will come out with great substance, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Rafiq, read verse 16 of the 16th chapter of Proverbs.
How much better? How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather than to be chosen than silver?
Okay, so here in the 16th chapter, in the 16th verse of Proverbs of King Solomon tells you that wisdom and understanding is better to be had than gold and silver. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Gold and silver, even today, are some of the two most valuable substances on planet Earth. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yet King Solomon said it is better to have gold than wisdom and understanding than silver. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So King Solomon is telling you that a better substance to have is wisdom and understanding. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you go back to chapter 15 and verse 14 of the book of Genesis, it says that this nation is going to come out with great substance, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you're going to receive the great substance from God, what you're going to receive from God is great wisdom. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the book of Genesis, we were told that this nation is going to come out, is going to leave this country after 400 years, and they're going to come out with great substance. And we know that from King Solomon, the greater substance than gold and silver is wisdom and understanding. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you look at what happened to us in this country, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad brought us the supreme wisdom from Master Farad Muhammad. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what he called his teaching. He called his teaching supreme wisdom, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we read the 15th chapter of Genesis and the 14th verse, when it says they shall come out, it says they shall come out with something, and they're going to come out with great substance. There's no greater substance to have. There's nothing greater that you can ever possess than wisdom. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Gold and silver, you may have to spend it to buy food or to pay for something, or somebody can take it from you. But if you have wisdom, no one can take wisdom from you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And if you have a great enough wisdom, you can have all the silver and gold in the whole world if you wanted to, if your wisdom was great enough. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we know that from the 14th verse of the 15th chapter of Genesis, that it's prophesied that we shall come out of a certain country with great substance, great wisdom. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Turn back to the book of Revelations, chapter 18.
Yes, we do. 1705. Yep.
1705 times.
We're all there.
Okay. Kamal, read verse 4 of chapter 18.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues.
Okay. So in the fourth verse here, what's the first thing that the voice from heaven said?
Come out of her, my people.
Right. Now, Daim, what did God say in verse 14 of chapter 15 of Genesis? What did he tell his people was going to do in verse 14 of chapter 15 of Genesis?
Rid of substance.
They're gonna do what? They're gonna do what? Come out. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So in the beginning of the Bible, we read about a people coming out of a country, and then we go to the end of the Bible, and the book of Revelation, we see a voice from heaven, or we hear a voice from heaven, or God saying, "Come out." So in the book of Genesis and in the book of Revelation, we are reading about the same people being told that they're going to come out. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now in the book of Genesis, the country is not identified. Only thing Abraham knew in the 15th chapter of Genesis is that his children was going to be slaves in another country, but the country wasn't named. Now, in the book of Revelation, it gives a metaphorical name to this country where Abraham's children are being held, and the name of that country is called Babylon. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But remember, from last week, we was reading the first and second verses, and we found out that Babylon the Great, we found out last week that that's America the Great. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so God's people will be slaves in a country known as America, or America the Great. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one moment. All right. So, what further proof do we need to find out that this country where the slaves of God, the children of God, are being held is America? Well, let's read. One moment. Okay, Rafiq, I want you to read verses 10 through 14 of chapter 18 of Revelation.
All right. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth of their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver, and precious stones, and of pearls, and fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all the manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and breast, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all.
All right. So, here in the book of Revelations, which is the last book of the Bible, we see that this country has a lot of products, a lot of goods that is trading with the whole planet. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And in the book of Revelation, it kind of gives you an idea that this country is a great country because it has a lot of merchandise that's being traded all around the world. Merchandise of oil, flour, sheep, horses, So I'll briefly go into this. If you look at the 13th chapter, it says, cinnamon, odors, ointments, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, beasts, sheep, horses, and the chariots and slaves and souls of men. Now, at one time, whether you know it or not, because you're kind of young, America has what's called the breadbasket, meaning the West, the Midwest of Kansas and Nebraska and Missouri. And at one time, America around the whole world was known for its wheat. Meaning, at one time America used to boast that she could feed the whole world from right there from the Midwestern states of Kansas. It's called the wheat belt of the country. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Even today, countries such as Russia and China and Saudi Arabia, they still come to America and buy food. Russia comes to America and buy chicken. Saudi Arabia grows food here and ship it back to Saudi Arabia. China grows food here. So the merchandise of the agricultural products of wheat and poultry and chicken and beef and sheep is still America's still feeding parts of the world, even great countries such as Russia and China. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you'll notice that it says, it mentions chariots and slaves and souls of men. Well, when it says souls of men, what is the soul? Does anybody know what your soul is? If
Would it
not,
be your mind?
what you say?
Would it be your mind?
That is correct. Who said that?
I think.
Right. The soul is the mind. The soul of you is that part of you that's immortal. That's that really can't be touched. The soul is that part of you that your physical body produces. The electrical impulses in your brain that produces the soul. That the spirit. The electrical energy that your body produces. That's your soul, your mind. So when the 13th chapter says that this country, sold the souls of men around the world, that's books, knowledge from souls of men, like Einstein and different famous scientists and philosophers and poets, souls of men. You'll find the souls of men or the mind of men written in books. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Like in the city of Washington, D.C., they have what's called the Library of Congress, where they have many. It's the most famous, one of the most famous libraries in America. It has basically every book that's ever been printed in the country is found in the Library of Congress. So when the 13th verse says souls of men, which translates to minds of men, well, how do you buy and sell the mind of a man? Well, if that man writes a book and puts his thoughts on paper and he sells his book, then he's sharing his soul or buying and selling his thoughts, his soul. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
One moment. All right. Now, Amaria, I want you to read verse 22.
Yeah, right here. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and shall the sound of a millstone shall be sorrow give her, for she said,
That'll be heard no more. That's the top of the next page.
yeah, right here. And shall be heard no more at all in thee.
Okay, Kamal, read verse 23.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
Okay, so in verse 22 and 23, it's giving you an idea of what's going on in this futuristic country known as Babylon, or what we have learned is America. Now, it says that the voice of harpers and musicians and trumpeters, music. Now, in America, the music is a very, very big industry here. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, billions and billions of dollars are made in the music industry, primarily black music. Black music in America is a very large industry, and black music is sold around the world. And so anyway, verse 22 is letting you know that there's going to come a time in this place where you're not going to hear no more music. You're not going to hear the voice of harpers, singers, and music, because the country is going to be judged by Allah. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Here, one moment. Now, Rafiq, read verse 17.
Of chapter 18?
Yes.
All right. For in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught, and every shipmaster and every shipmaster and all the companies in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off.
Read verse 18.
And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this, the great city?
Daim, read verse 19.
And they cast dust on their hands and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
Now, in verse 18, verse 17, 18, and 19, we see that it's mentioned that businessmen, merchants from around the world are going to weep and cry, because when Babylon is destroyed, they're not going to be able to make the money that they used to make. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, what kind of car does your mother have?
Toyota.
Toyota.
2014.
A Toyota what?
Camry,
Toyota Camry.
2014.
Toyota, what country makes Toyota?
China.
Japan, right?
Yeah, I was going to say Japan.
Really?
Yeah. We did
Do
that.
you understand?
Yes, yes, sir.
The point I'm making is, many of the products, if you look around your house, if you look at, for instance, the video game system you have, the laptop, if you look at your laptop, it's probably a Japanese or Chinese made laptop. If you look at the PlayStation 4, that's Sony. That's a Japanese company. If you look at even the socks that's on your feet, the socks that's on your feet was probably made in Indonesia. The point I'm trying to make to you is even right now, even today, just about every product that's in your home and that you use is made in another country. And if the product that you're using in this country is made in another country, that means that the products being sold in this country and sold to people like you and me are supporting the economies of other nations. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, if America was not here, where would Japan sell those Toyotas to? One of the biggest buyers or I should say the biggest purchaser of these products, like Toyota cars and those PlayStations that all the children of America like. The primary purchaser of all these products is America. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So if America stops buying, or America is no longer here to purchase products, all those companies from different countries like China and Japan and Germany and Saudi Arabia, you name it, they're not going to make no money. They're going to be quote unquote crying or wondering how they're going to make money, because if this country's not here to purchase it, you know, they're not going to have basically nowhere to sell their goods. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One moment. So you read in the 19th verse, it says, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Okay, so here, so this is how you can kind of tell what's going on. This is how you can kind of tell what time you're living in and how late it is. You know, despite what you may hear on TV about different things different countries are saying, believe me, there's not one country in the world that wants to see America fail or fall. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And the reason why no country generally, there's no country in the world that wants to see America come to an end, because everybody's making money with her. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what will herald, or what will start the fall of America? When would she finally have fallen? When will she finally be destroyed? Well, she's going to meet her ultimate end when the black man and woman, you and me, when we wake up and find out who we are and who God is. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what am I saying? This is what I'm saying. You know, when there are when Allah finally gets his people, those he's after in this country, to come out to serve him and to know who they are and to know who he is, that's when the end will finally come. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what does this mean? It means this. It is not only America that don't want the black man and woman, you and me, to wake up to who we are and who Master Farad Muhammad is. It also means this. It means that the whole world don't want us to wake up. The whole world don't want the black man and woman of America to find out who Master Farad Muhammad is and who they are and wake up. Because when that happens, America falls and they lose their economic power, their money. So nobody in the world wants to see you wake up and worship Master Farad Muhammad. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you can only understand what this means, or what the implications of this, what that means is countries like Russia, China, the rulers of these countries, like Russia, China, Japan, Australia, you know, the rulers of this world, they can only keep ruling, you know, if we don't wake up, we don't start worshiping Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we don't wake up to who he is. They can stay in power. It comes down to just that. And and Allah gave you a sign within the last couple of weeks, because all around you, everybody was flooding. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I was reading on the news that the amount of rainfall that fell on the state of Louisiana in that time period happens every 1,000 years. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
It was worse than Hurricane Katrina. It was a biblical, you know, by those standards, I dare say it was a biblical event. But the point I'm making is this. You notice that to the west of you in Lafayette, to the south of you in Baton Rouge, and even parts of Opelousas are completely flooded. Do you know that there are children there in Louisiana that still haven't started school yet? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that there are people all around Louisiana that has lost everything because their homes, like is that in the living room where you're sitting right now, was under 4 feet of water, and they lost all of their possessions. They have to start over again. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that a lot of these people had to leave their home like you're in and go and live in a public shelter and wait for government aid and wait for government money to eat and provide for them? That's a condition that's going on all around you right now. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. And the reason and the reason why you're not suffering, and one of the reasons you really only, even though you're right there in Louisiana, even though you're only 40 minutes away from all that destruction, one of the reasons why your bellies are still full, there's nothing going on in your home, everything's fine with you, is because you serve and you believe in Master Farad Muhammad, Allah. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget the great flood of Louisiana, because you were there. Matter of fact, you are there. But you are safe and nothing happened to you, and you got plenty of food in your kitchen. You didn't lose anything. Matter of fact, you got a couple of days off from school is basically what happened to you. You even back in school. But the people all around you and surrounding cities were not so fortunate. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So anyway, well, just imagine what's going to happen in this country when Allah finishes gathering his people that believe in him. Can you imagine the destruction and misery that's going to come upon this country, then the world? Can you imagine that?
No, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
they got movies like that. Dude.
Oh,
You seen World War Z?
that is not what.
So just remember that, and let that be, and let what happened all around you be motivation for you to say and remember your prayers every day, because Allah does not owe us anything. It's by his grace that we receive his mercy and his protection, not because he owes us anything, but because he loves us and he has given us grace and mercy. That's why we are not suffering like the rest of the people. Do you understand?
Yes,
sir.
All right. So, start, if you can't remember your prayers, what you do, you just open the book, and when it's time to say your prayer, you just read the prayer from the book. Take your highlighter and highlight it and just read it every night. And pretty soon you'll remember your prayers. Okay, Amaria?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All right. Are there any questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. Is everything? Well, let me conclude the meeting. If there are no questions or comments, I'm going to conclude the meeting. So, does anybody have any questions or comments to make?
Well, yes, sir.
but it doesn't have to deal with anything that was talked about today.
Well, okay. Go ahead.
What if there was a white person that was taught by Islam that knew Master Farad Muhammad when they were just born, and when they'll grow up, they raise them and they'll know Master Farad Muhammad?
Are you asking me about white folks?
He said, what if there was a white person that believes in Master Farad Muhammad?
Okay, you're asking me what about white people that believe in Allah and a person Master Farad Muhammad?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, if they believe in Master Farad Muhammad, they'll receive a reward. They'll receive an extension of time before their destruction, but they're going to be destroyed because that's the law. They're not going to be immediately killed. When the rest of their people are killed, they'll be given a few more days to live. But after that, they're going to be, destroyed. You know, because
Yes,
the
sir.
law, as given in the book of the Torah, the First Testament, is an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And if memory serves me correct, when Master Farad Muhammad was talking to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there are not enough white people to pay the debt. Even if we took them all out for the hundreds and thousands of years of the black people they have been killing, there is not enough of them to even pay the debt. But to answer your question, if a white person believes in Master Farad Muhammad and and trying to do the right thing, they'll be given an extension of time. I don't know what the extension is, how much longer they will be allowed to live. I don't know that number, but I do know from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the word from Allah is this: they'll be given an extension before their destruction. So they're all going to be destroyed. There's some of them that try to do right. Allah will give them a reward that is an extension on their time to live, but all of them are going to leave. They're all going to be destroyed. Any other questions?
Yeah. Could you guide me through the Silver Cross?
Yeah. We're just going to take. We're going to. But the thing is, Rafiq. We'll do that. But you kind of, before we even start, you kind of need to review the syntax. But that's just hold that question for one moment. Hold on for one moment. Does anybody have a comment or question about today's lesson?
I do have a question about your videos.
Which one?
Well, your Black Messiah videos?
Uh-huh.
Well, do they skip because...
Yeah, I'll show you tomorrow.
Alright. Also, it might be, I don't know, probably we already went over it. I don't think I remember, but what is the Black Messiah?
What is Black Messiah?
Yes, sir.
Well, is in a word, Messiah is the word Messiah itself means the anointed one. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, the Messiah is also a Christian term for the Savior. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, in a general sense, in an overall sense, Master Farad Muhammad is the Messiah. He is the Savior. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but what you must also understand is this. Whenever you read stories in the Bible, when salvation came to the people, God always raises up a man and sends them to the people to save them. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
In the book of Exodus, he sent Moses. In the book of Genesis, he sent Lot. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
In the book of Genesis, when he was ready to destroy people, he sent Noah to warn the people. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, if the people in the days of Noah, if they would have listened to Noah and got in the boat with him, they would have been saved. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that means even though God, Jehovah of the time, sent Noah, and God is really the Savior, Noah was your Savior too, because he was the one that God sent to save you. So if you would have got in the boat with Noah, you would have got in the boat with the Messiah. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Master Farad Muhammad is the Messiah, but Master Farad Muhammad is Allah, God in person. So what God always do, he always raises a man to warn the people, to save them from their destruction. Now, the man that's coming today, that's going to be raised by Master Farad Muhammad to save us, he is whom I call the Black Messiah. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
What's your question, Amaria?
People with lighter skin, and they believe in Rastafari Muhammad, will they die too?
You said people with lighter skin?
Yeah, like people that have like white skin, but they're actually black, and they believe in.
Are they black?
Are you talking about Mexicans?
Wait a minute. When I'm talking, I want to hear from Rafiq and Kamar. I'm talking to Amaria. She can talk on her own. Let her talk. Go ahead.
People with lighter skin, just like white skin, but they are actually black and believe in Rastafari Muhammad, will they die too?
No, it's really not your skin color. But to answer your question, black people with light skin or black people that look white, they are black. They're not going to be destroyed. They're not the devil. But we say white people only to identify them. You know, it's really not. You got black people. You got black people. Black people come in all colors. You got black people that's very, very dark, and black people that are very, very light that almost look white, but they're black. What determines whether or not you are devil, or whether you're going to be destroyed by Allah, is your genes, your genetic code. Now, if a black person has white skin, that does not mean that their genes are Caucasian. They don't have Caucasian genes. They just have light skin, but their genes are black. They're from the original black people. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So black people with white skin that believe in Allah are not going to be destroyed. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm not about to hang up. This is going to conclude the meeting. I'm going to conclude the meeting as I open it in the name of Master Farah Muhammad, who is in person. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
Walaikum salam.
Now, the silver frost. What you have to do, you got to kind of read up on the syntax, because when you